Hello there, Steve here in Sydney of the lay gnosis website truebluehealer.com. I'm going to talk to you today about a particular person on YouTube, a very active and aggressive troll who's obviously working for Monsanto. First of all, we have to start with how crafty he is, and he operates out of a zero activity showing YouTube account. There's activity shown on his Google Plus account, but he also uses an incomprehensible, unpronounceable name, so you can't even talk about him. So he's gone to some effort to think this out. He's cunning, like so many orcs, I've heard them called, people who are driven by hate, as far as I can tell. Anyway, his name is dsndicmsa. That's how it's pronounced to make it easy for you. MSA is as in Malaysia Singapore Airlines. Do you remember them? dsndicmsa. dsndicmsa is clearly a hired gun working for Monsanto. He may be in the food industry. It's difficult to know, or he could just be a very angry teenager in his mother's basement. Possibly a well-read person living permanently on the internet. He's got facts and figures he likes to bombard you with, but when you hit him with a larger picture, he goes sort of quiet. We know he's an uber pseudoskeptic, very energetic, aggressive pseudoskeptic. He seems to be so cunning, but he lacks social skills. We all know that you don't get anyone on side, you don't make them conducive to argument by calling them names. He starts by calling people idiot, conspiratorial morons, fools, etc. That's a bad introduction, a bad way to present. And he doesn't seem to understand that type of psychology. It suggests mild autism in this fellow. dsndicmsa made it clear under my last video that he is of the firm opinion that people don't have a right to choose what they put in their own mouths, and they should all be made to eat GMO foods. They should shut up, stop complaining, they're not informed. In fact, they're so stupid, they're also moronic, they're just useless eaters. But while they're uselessly eating, they should be eating his GMO products. That's the essence of this fellow's argument. The overall picture of dsndicmsa's conduct on the internet is one of being a lunatic, unstable person who's clearly intelligent, but nevertheless greatly lacking in social skills, and will never convince anybody the way he comes in, landing head kicks as soon as he starts typing. He just spends all day on the net doing this under all the GMO videos. He does seem quite knowledgeable about statistics, but I'm just a layperson, and I've met numerous people who can make statistics sing and dance and play any tune you want. Governments and top government officials employ statisticians to fiddle the numbers to make it sound good, to put the best foot forward in trying situations. I've met people who can talk with great experience and knowledge of horse racing odds and things, and they're equally as convincing as he is. He seems to know a lot about statistics. He may actually be in the food industry, I don't know, but he's clearly being employed as a full-time head-kicking skeptic, a hired gun for the Monsanto company. Now, pseudo-skeptics have a rule. They always shoot themselves in the foot in a few lines, in a few entries under a video, right? They start attacking you, you're an idiot, you're a fool, you're a moron, and then they call you all these names, and typically he called me an idiot, conspiracy theorist, something like that, you see. And then later on I tried to calm him down, and I asked him a question, and I said, so why do so many people oppose GMO foods being fed to us? Why are people so cautious about this? he then explained to me his own conspiracy theory that there was big money opposed to GMO products, and it was other corporations or something like that, left to my imagination. But he actually wrote his own conspiracy theory to explain why people don't like GMO products. How about that? Now, pseudo-skeptics always shoot themselves in the foot in that fashion. Okay? So he's a classic pseudo-skeptic. De-sendic MSA is also a raging supporter of Bill Gates' his eugenics policy, where he says if we get enough vaccines out, we'll have more children, and then mysteriously says with more children we'll have less population. He says that in the first 30 seconds of a video that de-sendic MSA supports fully. So double talk, double speak, code words, coded language. This fellow is working for that elite group. Monsanto vaccines are all connected. Sterilisation of people via vaccines to prevent them breeding. So you can basically wipe out whole tribes of people. They just stop having children, their birth rate drops, and they just sort of vanish. That's one way. The eugenicists at the top of the heap, who are utterly seduced by the religion of Darwinism, think that they have to act, they are the chosen ones to control the world's population by stealth. Okay? Now, Bill Gates can't stop revealing what he's saying. It seems to be almost an accident the way he says it. In the first 30 seconds of a video, I will link below this video. I'll also tell you that GMO labelling has become a war in the World Trade Organization court. That is that 50 countries around the world have said GMO products must be labelled, and they are labelled in Australia, I have seen them. And in America you don't have to, so people can be fed it without their knowledge, you see. This is the land of freedom of choice, where Americans always believe in choice. But apparently not when it comes to GMO, you have no choice, and the brown-shirted Nazis that run the criminal overworld, called the US corporate government, they will decide what you are going to eat, even if you're a useless eater. Okay? You're going to eat what you're told, useless eater, so you at least return some profit while you're being useless. Okay? That's the attitude of these people, including this de-sendic MSA. Okay? De-sendic MSA did agree with me, I made him do it, that most people in the world don't want genetically modified food, that nobody wakes up for it in the morning, that there are no street demonstrations demanding GMO foods for every child for their breakfast. Schools don't advocate it, nutritionists don't advocate it. In fact, I can't think of anybody, I haven't seen any newsreels where people are screaming for GMOs. He tacitly agreed with me by saying a couple of countries have illegally imported them in India and Brazil, and that's all he knew about. So I take that as a global rebuttal of his attitude that everyone should eat GMOs. I mean, what's wrong with people saying, I don't want to eat a particular food? It's one of the freedoms of life we have left, one of the few freedoms. And I think it's well worth preserving. And 50 countries around the world so far have already insisted that GMO food is labelled, but America is the odd one out, and there's a World Trade Organization court battle where America's trying to force everyone else to eliminate labelling. I don't fancy their chances. De-sendic MSA is a classic pseudo-skeptic in quite a few ways. One of them is that he quotes Wikipedia in using entries he may have written himself. Wikipedia is anonymously edited, so we'll never know who put these mysterious entries in and how true they are, and whether they're not twisted to suit some political agenda. Certainly Monsanto would be very active at editing a Wikipedia. Okay, we know that for sure, and he quotes Wikipedia. So to de-sendic MSA, who hides behind an incomprehensible, unpronounceable name on YouTube, I challenge you to make your own videos, show your face, reveal who you are and who you work for. He's always talking about other people, the Green Movement, have conflicts of interest. Well, don't we all? Is that really so bad to have a conflict of interest? To care so much that you're no longer objective and then you can carry some concerns with you to decision making. We're not robots. This man wants us to be robots. And we're not going to be robots. Pseudoskeptics always want robotic thinking to rule. It's some kind of Nazi control obsession they have because the world is so frightening and so damn complicated. I'll just tell you one of the tricks that he does, a pseudoskeptic trick. It's a very common one. This uber skeptic. So I'll give you a typical thing that de-sendic does. He comes in anonymously. You have no idea who he is or where he's from. You can't look it up really, not straight away anyway. You've got to go and look at his Google Plus page, then it becomes obvious. But he'll surprise you by asking you for evidence for something, and then, as usual, like all skeptics do, no matter what you present, he's going to do a hatchet job on it instantly. It doesn't matter what you present, but he thinks he's doing a hatchet job on you because what you've presented to him is one of your dearest little beliefs, you see. So he thinks he can go around and do hatchet jobs on people one by one and make the world collapse and surrender and eat genetically modified foods unlabelled. That's his goal. I don't think he's got a snowball's chance in hell, actually, because 50 nations have already decided, and they could do it independently, I suspect. Even if the World Trade Center thing is a win for the US, I don't think it will be, because I don't think world trade legalities should affect such serious things as genetically modified food. It's a case on its own. It's about humanity, reality, and free will and free choice of what we put in our mouth. Can I just emphasise here that it really doesn't matter what your IQ is or how much of the world you can understand. The burgeoning information explosion is massive and beyond most people, and specialisation is the only refuge of technical people in the trade, in the industry doing these things, and lay people have to take what they can get, often from mainstream media only. So it's possible for people to be uneducated, uninformed and dull, but they still can be a lot happier than a lot of other people. And I'll say this, they still deserve the right to be able to choose what they put in their own mouth, no matter what their educational status or IQ is. Okay? The whole thing comes from Nazi jackbooted contempt from up on the top of the elites, the eugenicists. Okay? The useless eaters are being targeted by the eugenicists at the top of the heap. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. MSM, whatever your name is.